Okay, so this is the step for creating the lead. You're going to need a steel rule, a pencil, and a piece of MDF. So what we're going to do is take some measurements from our box. So we're gonna measure the distance between this slot here and this other slot, because that's where our lead is going to go. So if we place our steel rule there, that's going to be about 134 millimeters. So I'm going to measure that from this edge to here, 134 millimeters. And I'm going to measure across again 134 so I can trace a straight line. Okay, so now I got that straight line. Then I'm going to measure with my steel rule again the depth of this cut on the other side. So I'm just going to slide it through like so and make sure it sits at the end, and then see how far in it goes. And it's about 136, 37. So I'm just going to do about 137. Yep. And then trace that through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sander and I am going to sand off these edges. So now that I have marked this, I am going to proceed and cut this section off because it's quite big. So now that I have marked the lead, I'm going to mark the waste material. And proceed to cut off this excess bit, especially because it's quite big. So I'm going to again use the bench hook. I'm going to secure the bench hook on the bench, place the piece of MDF down, hold it down with my hand, and then align the mark that I made with the edge of the bench hook here, and then I'm going to proceed to cut. Because this is such a slim material, this will not take me long and it won't be too hard to do. It is important to make sure that you don't cut on top of the line, that you leave a margin so you can see where the line is and you can sand on the belt sander the excess until you meet the line. So now we have cut off our excess and we're going to proceed with the belt sander to sand all the way until the marked line. So here we are on the belt sander, and we're gonna make sure that this flat edge is going to be aligned to this guard of the belt sander. So that way we can have a straight sanding surface and it's going to be nice and square. Now that we have sanded both edges, we're going to make a fit test. So we have sanded our lead, we're gonna insert it and it slides in quite comfortably. It has a little bit sticking out, that's okay. We're going to just make sure that we trace the line down at the bottom, so we flip it down, and then with our pencil we trace the line where it needs more sanding, and then we take it back again to the sanding machine. So we're going to trace the line and then mark our waste material again. Now after sanding it, it's nice and even, and now we're ready to stick the additional part here. So as you may remember, initially we cut off this part from this end here. So this part used to belong to this area here, but now we need to attach it to our lid so it fits in nicely. To do that, we need to sand this off a little bit and make sure that it sits in flat and nicely with the rest of the structure. To sand this bit to size, I cannot use the bandsaw because it's very small and it's unsafe to hold this so close to the bandsaw, so I'm going to do it by hand until this lip here meets the base here. So I'm gonna go and put a piece of high grade, could be 80, 60, and then we're just going to proceed. Now that I have sanded all the excess off, now we're going to proceed to glue the piece in place. So we're going to apply glue generously to one side, spread it with our finger evenly across the whole surface, and now we're going to apply the same to the bottom. So now we make sure that we are spreading it all the way across, and then we position the piece in the middle. Best way to position it securely is to place it inside the box and make sure it aligns nicely with the two edges here and here. So now that we have it aligned, we can proceed to, and don't forget to clean the excess with your wet rag. So we're going to clean the excess glue with our wet rag on all the sides. On the edge there, nice. We can position it again and make sure it's nice and even. Perfect. Just leave it hanging out a little bit and then just leave it to dry 24 hours.